Okay, we're live on YouTube as well.
Here we are, boys.
Okay.
Wow. We're doing it.
So this is a real thing now. Who knows?
My heart's beating out of my chest.
I think it's the soju, mate.
I think it's the soju as well. We're gonna give people a little bit of time here.
And while we do, I do want to say it's very bizarre how technology, like 10 years ago, this sort of production we have right now, we have 4 cameras on us streaming live from 4 different platforms. And that would be incredibly expensive 10 years ago.
Yes,
it's bizarre, man.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
Yeah, even like...
And all of this for all 100 of our viewers, man.
Yeah, so we are trekyeah. This is Evan, I'm Walker, and this is Andrew. Childhood friends, grew up in the heartland in Iowa, and we came out to Vietnam to
XYZ.
XYZ.
And
right.
we're here to talk about, this is our weekly Trekking. If you haven't seen it before, what this is just us recapping our fun stories.
This one is going to be a tad different.
A tad different. Fill them in on why.
A little bit different.
Well, we're in this secluded Korean community. It's kind of like, have you seen the trailer Get Out? It's a little bit like that, but massively different. And so we've just been like holed up here doing, like, just working like crazy. So not a lot has happened, but we are gonna fill the time with some hilarious stories.
We travel a total of maybe 100 feet every day to go down and eat lunch at this pork and rice place.
If we had pedometers on, it would be embarrassing.
We can maybe tweet out at trekyeah. We'll tweet out our iPhone
our steps. Yeah, let's tweet our steps out. It's brutal.
Yeah. So I mean, this week has been fairly tame. We almost just straight up and moved to the north of Vietnam like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
like 2 days ago.
Yeah. So,
is it North Vietnam?
Yeah, it's like near Hanoi.
Yeah.
So we've been teaching online, and it is very idealistic teaching online.
In theory, it's wonderful.
In theory, it's wonderful. Work from wherever. But the hours aren't really there, so...
In reality, there's just not enough hours.
Yeah.
Stable. Evan, though, is getting it to work.
Yeah.
He's got a good amount of hours.
I've got it to work locally, so I work for 2 different companies, and I thought one of them was going to be the one I worked for mainly, and the other one was going to be sort of a side gig. Well, I'm happy that I applied for both because I ended up swapping over. So the job that I didn't think that was going to provide for me is the job that I get most of my hours from.
Yeah.
So
now I have almost, I was doing the math, and my hours are almost all of my living expenses. Now.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
it's very close, within
Nice.
like $100. So if that keeps up,
Yeah.
then I'll be good.
Anyways, I am poor, so I need a real job. So, like, in a school teaching. So I'm gonna start teaching preschoolers.
Because that's where the real money's at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
definitely.
it's like 3 times as much as.
that's what we're making now.
Yeah. So, anyways, we almost moved to Halong Bay in like a 24, 48 hour decision, which is kind of beautiful that we have the freedom to do that.
Yeah, that is cool.
It's pretty cool, but
It was kind of stressful, though.
yeah. The main reason that it was stressful is because we've got 2 friends that are coming out here in September.
Sub G.
They were gonna
Sub
come originally.
Serious.
They were gonna come out in March and do this whole thing with us. They were in the plan since like November of starting trekyeah, and
it didn't, and they didn't because they like found like really good jobs that were like in the thing they wanted to do, so they went with that. And then it turns out, it's like, you know what, hey, we're gonna come out, and so we're super excited because I mean these are like more childhood friends, buddies of ours, Jason and Avery, who are coming out. Shout out to our guys, our guy and girl, rather.
our power team, our power duo.
Yeah, so you're gonna be seeing a lot more of them from now on.
All right, so now that the week is out of the way, let's get the fun part.
Well, I also wanted to say is
Okay.
because right now we got Rachel, we got Campbell. I don't know who
Rachel?
That's all we have so far.
My girl?
You
It's
two.
cool.
We have 1 or 2 over there. I'm not sure, but
Rachel's our biggest fan, girl.
Rachel's our biggest fan, and Campbell is also. Campbell, I hope you're feeling well. I hope your wisdom teeth.
I hope you got to kiss Elena,
I hope
man.
you got to kiss Elena.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I wanted to say that we're super excited to have our friends come out. Our last 2 interns didn't work. We've gone through 2 of them,
Yeah,
and they
Trent
just
and
don't
Sonny.
perform quite as well as we like.
Trent and
them to.
Sonnet, if you're watching, no hard feelings. But yeah, you guys knew you weren't quite right for the job.
Yep. So hopefully these guys work out better.
Yeah.
So we're here. We started drinking beers like an hour ago, and since we're in a Korean community, we're a bottle of soju down.
And so apparently Walker says that it's a Korean thing to add it to your beer.
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
You spike your beer with soju.
Soju
is like half vodka. It's 17.5%.
It's just like a sweet.
And also,
it tastes like water, really.
As a brief backtrack, Jason is a video guy. He's like a videographer, media kid. I don't know what the terms are, but trekyeah production value is about to really explode. So that's going to be fucking awesome.
Unless it doesn't.
Then it would, and then it definitely wouldn't.
But so today what we're going to do is, because we're in the Korean community and we basically work all day and do nothing but boring, well, not boring, we're excited about it, we work a lot.
Yeah.
So, but what we're going to do is we're going to recap some of our best memories from our time here in Vietnam, some of our favorite stories to tell, funny stories to tell. And so that's what we're going to spend this trek in doing.
So we just spent like a little bit of time thinking about our time out here and laughing and just enjoying it, the memories that came back. Stop peeking, dude.
Yeah.
How do we want to do this?
Well, there's a couple things we want to talk about. So we're going to talk
do
about some of our top memories. We're going to talk about some of the top people, like our favorite people. We're going to talk about stupid things that we've done. And we're going to talk about uncomfortable situations we've been in. So those are some of the topics we're going to hit on.
And these are definitely some things that Avery and Jason, you definitely have to look forward to a lot of the same experiences we have, because it is an uncomfortable learning experience, but a lot of fun.
So let's get into it. Evan.
What do you want? You want me to start?
Yeah.
I think we start with uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start with uncomfortable. And so my first uncomfortable story has to do with our border run. It was in a situation where I guess it's sort of common when you're in a place.
Explain the border run.
Okay, so in Vietnam, in many countries where you're not from, you're only your visa that you have. You don't have residency in the country, so you only have a certain amount of time you can live there. So you have to make what they call a border run in countries where you can only stay for a certain amount of time. So you can only be in Vietnam for 90 days, and after that 90 days goes up, you have to leave the country. But you can just come right back in. So it's a thing a lot of expats do, where you'll leave the country and then just walk across the border, get your stamps, and come right back in. Anyway, we had to do that, and of course there's a lot of people that need to do this, a lot of expats, and so there's a lot of Cambodians at that border who, you have no idea what the hell's going on, and so it's very easy for them to assert their power, and it was very uncomfortable. I mean,
it was super uncomfortable.
That's my top two uncomfortable times here in Vietnam.
Both of them are that one.
And what was it about it that made you uncomfortable? Just the fact that you're getting pulled by the G-string as these people take your money.
Because we know they're not part of like the government, but they're like, oh yeah, you have to do this and this, and then say, oh yeah, we'll do that. We're police officers. It's like, no, you're not. You're dressed in a mechanic's suit. You're not a police officer. But at the same time, you don't know how to do anything, and there's all these people, and it's just like, oh, fuck it, whatever, just do it.
Yeah, the big thing that they try to do is put a false sense of urgency on you and come on, no, it's cool. Yeah. Really, you have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
This got me when I landed here in the it got me in the first time I went to China. Me and this girl were traveling together, and this guy got us in a fake cab, just took our bags.
Fake taxi.
Fake taxi.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyways, we got out unscathed.
Hi, Julie. Hi. She's sorry. I'm sorry.
Here,
I was excited.
It's cool, dude.
She's on Ragbri.
Yeah.
She's on Ragbri.
I don't know who that
is. If you say hi every time,
sorry, you're right.
Comes,
I'm wrong. Sorry, I can't say hi anymore.
Yeah, no more saying hi.
My grandma's here.
Okay, say hi to grandma. Hi, grandma.
Yeah, hey,
hi, grandma.
Hey, grandma.
Anyways, when I landed here, the guy, I negotiated a black cab, some guy to just take me from the airport. But I was unfamiliar with the money, and so he's like, it's this much, and I pull out all my money that I just withdrew. And I'm trying to figure it out. He's like, here, and he grabs it, all of it from me, and I was like, fuck. I was like, no, give me that back. Anyways, I think he skimmed off $20 US.
So anyway, that was my uncomfortable time. And let's go to a funny story.
Okay.
Right now we're telling stories about our last 6 months, just in general.
A funny story. how about one of the first stories? Like the first day we got here and we were all together, we got some beers like this and we went out into the park in District 1.
Oh, man.
I just remembered that Andy got shit on by a bird.
Yeah, it happens to everybody, dude.
I forgot about that. So he got shit on by a bird, but that's not the. I'm talking about how we were holding like an English corner for like 20 teenage kids, just like sitting there, just asking us questions.
We're just
talking
sitting there
English.
sipping on some beers, just talking English with them.
And then we came back later in the day, and a couple of them were from the college, and they were setting up this like event, and we.
Yeah.
You remember when we got? So there's a video out there somewhere. You have it, huh?
Yeah,
Cool,
yeah.
they sent it to us. Awesome. Well, these college kids sang us singing some like nationalistic song in Vietnamese.
They like taught us this song, and then we sang it, and we're probably like,
Communist
as we're leaving, we're
propaganda,
probably like, man, it was probably a bunch
sure,
of
yeah.
communist propaganda, and we were hailing how great communism was, or something like that.
That was a fun day, though.
It was a fun day. I did get shit on by a bird.
I thought you were
Evan
talking about,
did too.
I thought you. I did, but I thought you were
So
going to talk about the
just
fact that there was an older
brush over
Vietnamese
that.
gentleman
Yeah.
who was probably, I don't know, in his 50s, in his somewhere up there.
Yeah.
And I was wearing a tank top that day, and all he kept saying to me was like, "Oh, so strong! Like you're so strong."
He really took a liking to you.
He took a liking to me for sure.
It was weird.
And he was like feeling me up and like doing like this grab. And at first,
Yeah.
you know, you're in a new country, you don't get what's right and what's wrong.
I was very happy that I was not in your situation. I do remember that.
Eventually, you know, after like the 4th time, he violated me and said, "No more."
Didn't he want to take you to Hong Kong?
Yeah, he wanted to take
He
me
was
to
gonna
Hong
take you to
Kong.
Hong Kong, dude.
That would've been
Yeah,
fun,
that's the thing
man.
he wanted me to do with him.
Maybe he has a Zalo.
Anyway, so that's a good story. Andy, your turn.
Uh,
I think you can
yeah,
get anything
so-
you want to talk about. Like, that's on your list.
Yeah. It was
Okay, just let me talk then.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
So this is back when we lived in Govap. One of our this is on like our first 2 weeks probably of being in Vietnam, and this is our first or maybe second experience with 3K bars, which is 13-cent beer, and I mean, obviously you can. I don't have to explain to you that you can drink a ton of beer, and that's exactly what we did. And afterwards, Evan and I and some friends from the course were back in our hotel room, and Evan sat on this outcropping that was on connected to my wall, and just completely ripped the thing off of the wall, and shit went everywhere. And so, you know, the next day, it's me and Evan were talking about it. Evan's like, "Oh, don't worry, man. I'll pay for it. What's it gonna be? $150 at most." And I was like, "Hey, man, it was a product of the environment. We can just split it, you know." And that's when I got another dose of we're not in the U.S. anymore. And so I went to the front desk of the hotel, and I was like, "Hey, the thing broke. I put my suitcase on it, and it broke. What? Oh my gosh." And they're like, "Okay, no problem, we'll fix it." And we didn't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
I thought it was so bizarre.
Yeah.
They were just like, "Yep, no problem, we'll fix it." They came and fixed it the next day. It was like nothing ever happened.
So I got that reminds me of another story of that hotel. It was the first day we got here. We're all living door to door to down the hall from each other. It's gonna be a buddy zone.
Yeah.
And I unpack everything. It's cool. I got what little things I did bring. I traveled light.
Please.
I had them all
I got a story
unpacked
about
and
that.
put
I got a
away.
story about that.
And then this I get a knock on my door, and it's this just cute, timid reception girl. And what she's she ends up we communicate, and I'm moving rooms to the floor down the hall, one floor below. But our conversation was just a series of me laughing and then her laughing,
Yeah.
and then
I remember that day. I could hear their laughter in my room, and I was like, "Man, what are they laughing about?"
So I want to talk about one of the elephants in the room as far as moving to Vietnam and to a different country, and that is the bum guns.
Okay.
Which
Yeah,
we've
yeah,
mentioned
hell yeah.
many times, right? So they don't use toilet paper here, right? And you use
we haven't used toilet paper this whole month.
yeah.
We haven't even had toilet
And
paper.
it's funny is at first it's super weird, and it's super weird when in the bathroom is the shower. You know, that was super bizarre at first, and now it's just normal. You know, for the shower to be the bath. Or sorry.
And how now it's kind of annoying when they only have toilet paper.
It is, dude. I prefer bubble guns.
I feel like a brute.
If I'm gonna have one or the other.
So Joe Rogan talks about this a lot, and I know I talk about Joe Rogan, but he talks about if you got shit on your arm, you're not just gonna like wipe it off. You're gonna like spray it with water.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with your bun. Just use your bun
Ish.
guns.
But the thing about bum guns is there's no happy medium. It's either like barely coming out like a water fountain, and it's like I can't now. I need toilet paper, or it's like a pressure washer, and
yeah,
It's painful or comfortable, and that's it.
and that is that.
We have two questions. So one is when will we be back to Bangkok, Thailand again? I will say that we all have a special place in our hearts for Bangkok.
Bangkok is a great place.
We loved the city, and we will be back, but I can't tell you when.
Evan loves Bangkok.
I love Bangkok for sure.
Yeah.
Kellen asks, "How is your bathroom set up now?" Actually, the bathrooms that we have now are separated.
They are.
So we have our own shower stall, and the toilet is separate. So, but I would say that is semi odd.
They're also kind of stinky. Like the water here stinks.
So that's the bum gun story. So it's my turn for a thing.
Yeah, go for it.
So one story I want to talk about is our first going deep. So we do things where we sit down and we interview people and we just get to know them and ask deep questions.
Plug for our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
check out
subscribe.
the playlist Going Deep.
No, but
content.
our first going deep. So we go to this cheap Vietnamese bar where it's 13-cent beers. So we have an interview over beers, and we drinks are flowing. We're asking questions, and all of a sudden by the end of the interview, we're all pretty drunk actually, and then as we try to leave the place, Vietnamese people specifically at this place love to buy you beer, and they want you to come sit.
13 cents. Yeah.
They want you to come sit at their table, and so we're trying to get out of here. We're already drunk, and we're trying to leave this place to go home after the interview we had, which was great. And no joke, we had to chug 4 or 5 beers.
This is just getting out. This is just leaving the bar.
Stood up. We've left our table. Our table is no more.
In between the table and the exit, we had to chug 4 beers.
Evan, you remember coming home drunk that night to Kwang Hotel?
And we did drink a lot because Evan puked.
No. Don't you assign that to me.
It was me. I puked that night.
This is bull crap.
Was
Walker
it you?
in the shower.
Oh yeah, it was you.
Was it
puked.
before?
After.
It was after.
because we went out after that, right? Mm-hmm. So it was after that.
No, it was in
Anyway.
between.
Yeah, in between going out again.
So
Next
Walker
story.
said something about how he travels light. It's a joke. That's a joke. I'm the one who travels light here, and Evan is the one who does not. And so this entire time, as we're moving, every single month we're moving somewhere, he's got these textbooks on how to teach English from his buddy. He's like, oh, I thought we'd need it, which is that's fair, whatever. But he still has them. And because he can't fit them in his own suitcase, I have to carry them everywhere, along with his these plush toys that he uses to teach with, right? So we're going to Bangkok, and I gotta throw his textbooks in my thing again. I'm like, come on, man, just throw them away. And I also have to put his plush toys in my backpack. So I'm going through security, and my bag gets my backpack gets pulled aside because I have a pocket knife in it, and I did have a pocket knife. I loved that pocket knife. My brother-in-law gave it to me when I was young, and now it's in Vietnam. And so she's like, "Hey, you have a knife in here. You have to get it out." And I was like, "Oh man." So I opened the bag, and the first thing, my bag is just packed full of Evan's stuff. And I unzip my backpack, and these plush toys just squirt out onto the table.
One of them is a Jigglypuff. One of them is a Jigglypuff toy.
It's a Jigglypuff Pokemon toy, stuffed animal. The other one's a turtle. And the security, the TSA, the Vietnamese TSA woman is just laughing at me. She's like, "Oh, are those yours?" And I'm like, "Well,
they're our friends. They're not mine."
I swear they're not mine. I don't know where they came from.
Travel light. Cool.
So I thought I had a comment off that, but I don't think I do.
So what I was gonna say is you remember that night we came home from 3K beer. We were pretty drunk, and there was Thai boxing on the TV, and we just pulled up chairs and sat with this doorman and just yeah, right jab, left jab, right jab.
You guys were watching Top Hours?
We watched
Yeah.
boxing for an
We
hour
watched it,
with
yeah.
an old Vietnamese guy in the lobby of a
That's
hotel.
pretty rad.
It
I was in
nice.
there
It was
for
a good
that.
moment. That guy was like always
That's
never.
the first I've heard of it.
Never heard him actually speak a word. He might have been mute.
I don't think so. But
Did you ever hear him speak a word?
No, I didn't.
Been
Okay, so another thing that that happened that is memorable for me. Actually, to update new people who are following, we're hanging out. We're talking about big memories we've had throughout the past 6 months. Right now, we're drinking beer mixed with sojou. Sojou
Sponsored.
is sponsored. Sojou, follow them.
There's an affiliate link.
Yeah.
No, it's a Korean liquor. And we
Just
mix
tweet
it
at
together.
them. It's fine. We get revenue.
Feel free to ask any questions.
Yeah, feel free to ask any questions. So anyway, what I was gonna say was, so we hop around Airbnbs a lot, and actually we've been living in Airbnbs for about 60 days now, ish.
Much more than that.
Yeah,
90
way
days?
The
more.
entire time.
Basically the whole.
You're right. You're
Minus
right. I'm
Copa.
dumb.
The
Yeah.
entire time.
So what is that, like 100,
4 months.
120 days?
I don't know.
Anyway, a long time with Airbnbs, and one whole month in one of our Airbnbs, we loved our hosts. They were great people, and the main host, the woman who like made our breakfast,
Oh, yeah.
we spent time with, her name was Tui, right?
Twee.
Around
Twee.
there.
It's like
Anyway.
a rising.
Anyway, we were pronouncing it wrong. So for the whole month, we were calling in Vietnamese. We were calling her Stinky. So
Yeah.
for the whole month,
Twee.
Twee, like rising tone is her name, falling tone is Stinky. So we're like, oh, thanks for the breakfast, Stinky. Like, Stinky, we need more water bottles. Like,
hey
oh.
Stinky, we
How's
need
it
to have-
going? Thanks for breakfast, Stinky. I've had
That's a good one,
It's
man.
real brutal.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
Fantastic.
They were.
people.
So speaking, one of our topics we want to talk about is some of our favorite people we've met here. So one of my favorite people we've met here goes to Dom. That's one of mine.
Yeah.
He was Twee's husband. He's a French guy, owns a bar in France, lives here, like has a family here, and yeah,
He's a madman.
He's a madman. He's always like,
Hi, Irma.
he doesn't really speak much English because he's French, and like I guess the French don't really speak.
Yeah. I've met so many other people other than Dom that I could understand better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Vietnamese people that I can understand better than a European.
Totally.
And it was so much like just the things like we would just have like, yeah, I guess.
I
And,
kind of
like,
get you. Do you understand? Oh, a little bit. That's funny.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
laugh and it's an-
Pity laughs.
But
yeah.
he was there. He landed. So we stayed a month in this place, and this was an Airbnb that it was a beautiful resort that they listed wrong. So we thought we were staying there. For
We got it for like
$8.50.
20% of the cost.
It was,
thought we were
it was
living
like
there for
45%.
$8.
Well, it was
Oh,
originally
originally,
like
yeah.
30% of the cost.
$8.50 a day, which is like the cheapest hostels you can get here, are like $12.
And this
a
is
night.
like a resort.
It's a beautiful.
Beautiful own pool, free breakfast. Like
They let us just take their motorbike around, like, oh,
It was great.
unbelievable, and it was supposed to be like $32 a night each, $40. Anyways,
So that was a great month. And so John asked a question. He said, "When are we moving again?"
Johnny!
We are actually moving. Dan Fiala says hi from Solon. Hello.
Oi!
Dan.
oh,
Good
beef
to see you.
days.
Yeah, we're missing beef days.
If you're on
Yes.
YouTube, we can't see your comments, so you'd have to be over Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube,
True.
So
Instagram,
I apologize for that.
at Trek.
Anyway, so John, we're actually moving 2 days from now, and we're actually going to be moving deeper into the city. Finally, we've been living outside of Ho Chi Minh City
For a
limits
while now.
for a long time. So we're excited to be more inside the city.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
And we got a deal, an absolute deal.
Yeah,
It's
good
less
deals.
than we are a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like $250 a month per person
Mhm.
ish. So that's really good for us.
Yeah. So Dom is one
So
of my
another
Yeah.
favorite person.
Campbell's the only one on YouTube, by the way. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Campbell. Holding down the fort. So another unsung hero of trekyeah, and she is really the creator of the anthem, the trekyeah anthem. Willow Smith. So Willow Smith, if you're listening right now, just know that your brand new single, "Wait a Minute," has been our absolute jam. And you guys like listening right now, just go ahead and search Willow Smith, cue it up for when we're done, and just listen to it and know that is us.
Wait,
right there.
Wait a minute.
Wait
a
minute.
minute.
It's our new song.
Willow Smith.
Yeah.
John asked which district are we moving to?
I think it's like
D3
I think
or
it's
D1?
I think it's D3. It's between D1 and the airport. But it is we're not gonna know what to do with ourselves. So for quite a while now, we've lived in situations where we don't have options, right? Like it's like we have 1 or 2 restaurants we go to every day. We're gonna move in the city and not know what the hell to do with ourselves.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Anyway, next story. I think it's my turn.
Sure. Yeah.
Whatever.
Snake wine. This is one of my
Snake
favorites.
wine.
Okay, so again, updates if you're just joining us. These are our favorite stories over the past 6 months. So this story was the first month we were here. It was a day after class, and we were just finishing we had just gone to the 13-cent beer bar, and so we had drank quite a bit. And we were walking along, and there was a Vietnamese family outside of their restaurant that they own, or their business that they own. So they have a table set out on the street, and so just a group of white people walking past, and they stopped us. We're like, hey, come drink with us. Come drink with us. They were eating dinner and drinking, having a good time, and we didn't know exactly what was going on. We were kind of confused. And then they start shoving this Aquafina bottle it was an Aquafina bottle full of brown liquid, and so that's kind of sketchy, right? I mean, I don't know, I'm not sure about this. I'm not comfortable.
How long have you been in Vietnam at this point?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah,
I wasn't here for this.
Yeah. So sketched out a little bit, and anyway, we're talking to him, and then finally we're like, you drink, and then we'll drink, and he took a drink of it, and so that was all good. And we're assuming that he actually drank it and didn't spit it out.
He's dead.
Or he pulled a Montoya.
Yeah.
or whatever, the Princess Bride.
Vizzini. His name is actually Vizzini.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, so we try this this suspicious brown liquid, and it's fine. It's like a wine. It's alcoholic, whatever. Sign us up for alcohol. So we sit down at the table, and they bring out this big jar.
It's like a water cooler jug.
That's just full of this brown liquid and snakes. Just snake bodies lining this jar.
Coiled.
And first time I've ever seen this.
Snake bodies.
Snake bodies. What would you call it?
I don't know. It's snakes.
Carcasses?
I'll call them snakes.
Yeah, it would be carcasses.
Anyway.
They are KO for the count.
So we, they bring out this jar and they keep just pouring new ones. It ends up, it's one of the older Vietnamese guys' birthdays, and they just invited us to sit down and eat their food with them and drink their snake wine, which had been aging for 30 years or something like that. It was super nice of them. I got the pleasure of sitting next to the birthday boy, and he actually fed me. They were demanding that we eat their food, and it's polite for us to be like, no. But in Vietnam, if they offer you food, you take it because they're offering it. Anyway, I was denying it, and so he took his chopsticks, picked up some steamed rice, and he was feeding me. He fed me chicken and steamed rice. So anyway.
Dude, the old men in Vietnam really like you.
Yeah, they do. Man.
So far.
Oh, yeah.
That one guy.
Yeah, you're right. So, that's my story.
That's good, man. That's a good one. Do we have any more stories from GoVap?
It's actually not too bad.
Anybody got any more stories from GoVap?
Huh. You mean GoVap?
No, but
I another one of our things we were thinking of was uncomfortable stories.
Okay.
So mine in a smaller version was when you first get here, just traversing GoVap of there's sidewalk and then there's someone welding on the sidewalk and cutting
Barefoot.
metal and sparks are flying. It's man, if that guy sneezes and loses control, he cuts my ankle and I'm
how about that
gone.
guy that was just varnishing wood?
Oh,
just spraying shit
oh my
onto
God.
the sidewalk where we have to walk.
His health. Anyways,
OSHA isn't a thing here. In other words,
Not a thing.
no hard hats. You actually
he's spraying
you'll see hard hats
nauseous
and
chemicals just on the highway, on the street.
Yeah.
You see people they have hard hats on. Maybe you don't even see that, but they have construction work on, clothes, and they've got a jackhammer here, right? And they have sandals on. They have flip flops. They're wearing flip flops doing construction. It's bizarre. But
Or
anyways,
just
crossing the street and realizing, okay, there's someone welding on the sidewalk here, so I have to walk onto the street and then back onto the sidewalk. Was super weird at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I would say traffic here, as in a lot of Asia is, even though there's fucking mopeds everywhere and if there were that many mopeds driving in America, you walk into the street Here it's like they drive pretty slow, and they pay attention, so you're fine.
That's Andy,
Next.
by the way. So Evan, Walker, Andy. Someone knows us two, but not Andy.
What the heck, man?
That's Andy. Hello. So I have a story, unless you guys are about.
Look me up,
in
dude.
one.
Did you take my?
Yeah, go for it.
I have a quick story. So my story is in Vietnam. There is a thing, and I think the best way to describe them is girl bars. And so a bunch of girls are employed just to entertain the people who go into the bar.
Which I think is mostly like old white dudes.
Yeah. So basically, you go to these bars and you get to you buy drinks, and the girls will just sit there and talk to you. And from what we understand, there are certain bars, I won't group them all together, but there are certain bars where if you spend enough money and hang out long enough, these girls will actually do more than just talk to you. Now, there was one night where our buddy Dom was like, yeah, go check out this like area of bars. And so we go, and we plan on meeting him there. But rain made it so he couldn't drive his moped out. But anyway, we are in this area, and every bar in this area are these girl bars. And so you walk in, it's a bar that's like 90% girls, 10% guys, and 8% of the 10% of those guys are above 50 years old.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at older guys who are coming in because
they just want some interaction
with younger girls. It's kind of weird.
It's very weird.
It's very weird, actually. And so we're in this girl bar with a bunch of old guys pay girls to talk.
We don't really understand it yet. Like we're
yeah,
in
we
there
don't. That's
and we're
fair.
like,
that's fair.
Man, this is kind of odd.
It's kind of odd for sure. And so we're there and we're at this part where we're sitting at the bar and there's a mirror here. There's a mirror. And so I'm looking at this mirror and there's this older guy and he's talking to two Vietnamese girls that work at the bar on this side. And I'm just like, drinking whatever, and then I look at this mirror at one point and now his shirt is unbuttoned. And this old guy, over 60, I promise, over 60 years old, has two Vietnamese girls that are under 25 licking his nipples. This happens, and I see this.
Brutal.
Like, I'm almost ashamed that this is one of my top memories. Like how
burned into your retinas.
That's burned
Yeah.
into my retinas. Like that's kind of messed up,
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's that. That was gross.
And so I was remembering that Rachel was with us when we were doing this. And I brought this up to you guys earlier, but it's funny enough to bring up again. So right after Gova, right after like a TEFL course, we moved to like this big house. The three of us, our buddy Charles, and our friend Rachel, and well, and so we're living we're living in this big house, and the living situation. There's 2 rooms that are so terrible and you don't want. Actually, maybe 3. I'll call that 3.
No,
your room was not
mine
good.
was fine.
Your room was
Dude,
bad.
mine was good.
There's 2 rooms you really want, right? And so me and Rachel had like been seeing each other, so it's like, hey, like I'll take the terrible worst room, which isn't even like totally secluded from the kitchen.
There's
it's
like
not even
holes
there's like
in the
windows
wall.
to the kitchen. It's a terrible place.
It's an open
It
air.
ended up being a guest room for a couple of people during that month. And the guest room is like, that's the best you could ever classify it as. So me and Rachel ended up staying in like this big, nice, air-conditioned room. This is, I don't know if you know, but like Evan, when he was having his narcoleptic episodes, was in the unair-conditioned rooms. And so I was in there, but I'm living with this girl, and like we barely like know each other, and like we're like involved romantically, and so every time I had to shit, I would go up to Walker's bathroom because there's no way, right? There's no way I'm gonna do that.
It's like a month-long first date.
It was like a month-long first date, and there's absolutely no way I'm shitting in our shared bathroom. Certainly not. I don't know if Rachel's on,
She
but
is totally
like,
hilarious.
Absolutely not.
Both
And so-
young virgins, she says.
What'd you say?
Both young virgins.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. 2 young virgins living together, and so I would
I
go.
can hear them praying.
Yeah, and so I would go and do my thing in Walker's bathroom, and he hated it, but I had no choice
Yeah,
at that
it's all
point.
right. I mean, I was just like, dude.
Okay, Walker, it's your turn.
All right. So
Re-intro, what are we doing?
So we are here drinking soju.
Soju and beer.
And we're recapping the 5 months we've been here.
Whatever.
Just our best memories. So
best memories.
5 months.
I got a
4 months.
really small aside on that time in Bangkok that we went to the Dairy Queen. And they did that thing that they do at Dairy Queens all over the world where they turn it upside down and hold it up. They give you a blizzard. They're like, oh, blizzard's ready, and they turn it upside down. It's their thing.
It's their thing. Walker gets this blizzard, and he's like, dude, in Thailand, this girl.
No, I thought it was just that girl. I thought she was so funny for that.
Okay. He's like, dude, she just went like this, turned it completely upside down. And then gave it to me. I was like, yeah, that's kind of like the dairy. That's the thing here. It's the thing that happens.
That's a small one.
So, I'd say another one of my top memories is when we were in Đức Hóa with our Airbnb host out in the country. And
the French one.
So he brings French goods from France every time he comes back. And so they made this awesome dinner. And it was some very good French wine. And some very good, the best prosciutto I've had in my life.
Yeah.
And I spent a good amount of time in Italy and in that area.
Yeah.
Best prosciutto I've had in my life.
Best sardine I've had.
Oh,
best
true.
fish.
Best
some canned sardines.
Best fish I've ever eaten in my life. That sardine was incredible.
Anyway, that dinner stands out for me.
The after party was great too.
Yeah.
During that dinner, was that the dinner that the power went out? We're living in rural Vietnam, so midway through, at the beginning of dinner, the power goes out, and they're like, oh, and they bring out candles, and so now it's a candlelit dinner.
It was a candlelit dinner, yeah.
Man, it was so nice. We'd been with them for 3 weeks at that point, and we were just we belonged with them. We were part of their family.
Yeah, they loved us. Yeah, it was great. At least maybe.
It was great.
We think that they thought we were okay.
Can you check if Santi or any of the boys are on right now? Because I want to roast Santi.
T.L. Carberry checked in a little bit ago. I don't know if he's still watching or not.
Okay.
So he could be watching. He might not be.
Should we roast him?
Yeah, let's roast Santi.
So, we all have these funny stories of when we all did stupid stuff, right? And Santi has one from his couple of months here. And granted, we were all at wit's end. Yeah, 1 month. We were all at wit's end at this point. We had gone out to, what's the place called? The street? Khao San.
Oh, we're in Bangkok still.
We'd gone out to Khao San Road, and it's a bizarre place. I don't know if that was the night we ate scorpions or not, but we ate some scorpions.
Carrie said that's nice about our dinner. I'm sorry, I just had to say that.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was amazing time.
Carrie, I don't know who Carrie is.
Sorry. I know who you are, Carrie. We ate scorpions. I need to get better at this.
Anyways, we stayed out way too late. We stayed out way too late because we had a flight to catch early as hell in the morning. And I think at most, one of us got 2 hours of sleep. I got 0 hours of sleep. And so we're going through all these customs, and we're in Thailand and trying to get to Cambodia. We've never done this before. We have no idea what's going on. We're all aggravated at each other, half delirious from sleep deprivation. It's just an absolute mess. It's the most uncomfortable airport experience of my life. So we finally get to the place, and Santi's laying down on just in the middle of the terminal, on the floor, just laying there, trying to sleep. It is absolutely packed. And we see this kid playing with this thing, and it hits, it barely touches. It touches him, and Santi gets up, and he's like, man, and he comes over to it, and he's like, dude, that kid just threw this fucking thing at me, man.
Threw trash.
He just threw trash. He just threw garbage at me for no reason, man. It's come on, dude. He dropped a scrap on you, buddy. Threw trash on me, garbage for no reason.
Yeah.
He's bent out of shape about that.
Yo, I got one from the beginning of when we moved out to the countryside, and there was one day where Evan was doing maybe teaching, the first beginning of teaching, and me and Andy took it on ourselves to go out and get food for everybody. And this is we're in a new place, we have no idea where we're at, man. And we go out.
we drove around for
45
at
minutes.
least. I was gonna say at least 2 hours.
Really?
I don't know.
We tried to find
I'll
a
say at least 2
supermarket.
hours. It's closer to 2 hours than
It might
45
be.
minutes.
Yeah, it probably is because we tried to find a supermarket. And
Let
we
me
stopped
clarify
at
that
multiple
this
places.
is when we moved into the countryside, which was way
With the French guy.
with the
Yeah,
French
with the
guy,
French
which is
guy,
like
and
way
stinky,
far away from
and
everything.
stinky.
and stinky,
Yeah.
mind you.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to find anything because it's very country-like.
So we drove around for hours. Andy riding bitch on my gnarly hog. And
Yeah, his gnarly hog.
That's so
And we had this supermarket queued up, the directions, right? And we got there, and we're just in the middle of this industrial park with all this like broken down stuff. And at one point, we stopped next to one of these. It's supposed to be a supermarket on the map, and like all these dogs, start like running out of this abandoned warehouse at us. And so like Walker's like, yeah, and like we like get out of there. And there's like there's like the only other people we found on this road this entire time. These Vietnamese people were driving like by us at the same time, and they saw us like skirting away from these dogs, and they were just laughing at us so hard because I bet that looked absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a good time. We ended up going to this place that was right outside of our door, and they had these. It's called a banh mi.
Banh mi.
Banh mi.
It's basically a loaf of bread with some.
It's a Subway sandwich.
Stuff inside it.
A Vietnamese Subway.
But do you remember when we bought 10 of them, which they were like 10.
You're like, what? 10? And I was
Wow.
like, yeah. And then at first they just brought us 10 loaves, and we're like,
10
no.
loaves. The
We want
sandy.
10 sandwiches.
Yeah.
We didn't know we were gonna eat.
Do you
much.
remember
Actually,
while we were getting those
hold on,
sandwiches?
sorry.
Go ahead.
You
go.
Yeah, okay, so while we're getting those sandwiches,
Yeah.
there's a Vietnamese guy, probably 40 years old, right there, sitting here with a lit cigarette in his mouth, and he's like, "Hey, you look thirsty. Hey," and then he just puts it into his mouth, like closed
All
mouth,
of it. Closes his mouth, and then
pops it back out. Hey. Okay,
he's
it's
obviously
again.
not saying hey. He's like,
Yeah,
you know.
But he's smoking it. It's on his lip, and he just guts it and puts it, resting it on his tongue. It's wild. Yeah, that guy. We were gonna see him again, but we never did.
No,
But
we never did.
That's
Never
the
got
thing though is when we're around Vietnam and one of us is more hungry than normal, is ordering 2 portions is bizarre here. It's bizarre. Like they look when you like, I'll take 2 meals, and they'll be like,
Let alone if you're ordering 3 meals.
yeah, Andy does that.
Or if you're ordering for like, okay, I want 2 meals for here and 1 meal to go and 1 coffee to. It's impossible.
Also, we don't speak the language.
That helps. That helps for sure.
We spoke Vietnamese, maybe.
Oh yeah, we don't speak Vietnamese at all.
We don't speak Vietnamese
So I
at
do
all.
want to say
except
that
for
if you
bang
just joined,
Banh mi.
and you know we've missed you
Wow.
from earlier, we have we've talked about a lot of good stories here, and they're all going to be on our YouTube channel. If you've enjoyed any of the stories you've heard so far, you can check them on our YouTube channel. We are drinking beer and soju, and I'm quickly running out.
We got plenty more down here.
We got
We
2
have
more.
2. We only have 2 more.
I get one of them, I think.
So one story.
No.
You guys got another story?
Yeah, here.
Whoever needs it gets it.
I got a story.
Yeah, bud.
So when we moved into this Korean neighborhood,
Yeah.
I was like sick. We'd all kind of gotten a bug, and I was
Oh
sick.
yeah, we all kind of were. Yeah.
But that's beside the point, because the real point is that my girlfriend at the time just like walked into a pharmacy, being a normally healthy person, and bought codeine.
Yeah.
The thing you do is you can just buy codeine here. That's the thing you could do.
Yeah.
Can we get that Google Translate going?
Also, one thing, ask questions if you have them. Anybody, we'd love to answer anything.
There's another thing that's come to my mind is the
What's up?
time we did the coffee shops.
Oh man, I don't think we haven't even
We haven't
talked
told anybody
about
about
that.
that.
No.
Let's give them a brief thing, and we might have a video, we might not. But the premise.
I've still got the clip.
We're at a pretty long. We've been live for about 45 minutes now.
Yeah, it's cool. We'll keep it rolling. We're having fun. We got stories to tell. You still got stories to tell?
The premise of this coffee thing is we're like, you know what? Vietnam has an incredible cafe scene because of their French influences from imperialism and whatnot.
Maybe it's correlation. Not.
Anyways, they have this incredible cafe culture. There's cafes everywhere. In Bintan, you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a cafe.
Yeah, true.
We lived on a street with 10 cafes easily.
Easily. And so we're like, you know what? Let's do a thing where we go around to all the best cafes in the city and have a coffee there and give a little review. And so we reached out to people who had lived here before and what are the best cafes? So we got a big compilation of the best cafes, got a route even, worked out how to do it efficiently, got our bike, all this stuff. And we went to all these cafes, and by maybe, what do you think, 6 or 7 in? Vietnamese coffee is Robusta coffee, which is super caffeinated coffee. And we were so yipped on caffeine. By the time we got to work Saigon, we're losing our minds.
We could hardly record video.
We were delirious.
We were delirious. Absolutely. That night, I stayed up till 9 a.m. I didn't go to bed until 9 a.m. I was up for over 24 hours.
I felt different than I've never felt that way. I'd never felt the way I did.
Yeah, it was a very uncomfortable feeling. Worse than being really drunk.
So I know
Would
that
not recommend.
I know that this is a surprising message to you all, but you probably shouldn't try to drink 10 coffees in one day. It doesn't work out.
No.
Or if you burn them, make them really strong. You remember when we used to play hacky sack?
That was also on my list, so talk about it briefly. But all I wanted to say... Sorry, you brought it up.
Go for it.
All I want to say is there was a brief period when we were living in Bintan, in the big house, if you will, and we would just get super sweaty playing hacky sack. You thought hacky sack was left in 2010? No.
2010? What are you talking about?
When was the last time you listened to Counting Crows live?
Ooh, it's been a while.
You that Counting Crows was live in 2013?
Yeah.
No. We played a lot of hacky sack. That's what we're trying to say.
It was fun.
It was great fun.
No air conditioning. We were getting very
sweat. We would be down to our boxers. It'd be
sweaty.
Sweaty.
Sauce.
You got anything? Oh, how about you shared an uncomfortable.
I did as well. I have another uncomfortable.
I got one.
Go for it, bud.
So my uncomfortable moment, I consider myself pretty comfortable with being uncomfortable, but the real uncomfortable really hit me when we were in rural Vietnam, and I went out. It was just me and my girlfriend, Vietnamese girl from the city though. She'd never been out of the city into the sticks. And we're sitting at this seafood restaurant, and there's an aging lady boy, and he.
How old do you think?
60.
Whoa.
Yeah,
first.
Past the expiration date of Botox and plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And he or she was catcalling me, and it was I am very far from Iowa. Yeah, it was wild. So that was my most uncomfortable moment.
Sitting here with my Vietnamese girlfriend, eating probably snails, getting catcalled.
Yeah, I was eating snails and crabs.
Kellen requested the secret admirer story.
Oh yeah, I have that.
That's a great job. Thanks, Mom. That's a good one.
That's my Andy's stupidest thing he's ever done when he's here is not hitting up that boy with yellow hair.
Oh.
Yeah, it was obvious.
Go ahead and tell the story, Andy.
Okay.
Go ahead and tell the story.
Okay. So, yeah, good call, man. So it's back when we're living in that big house, and I'm living with in the same room as Rachel, and she comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, I found this balled up piece of paper," and we unwrap it together, and we read it, and we'll piece it together. It says something along the lines of hello, I saw you this week, the boy with the yellow hair, remember me or something, and then gave her credentials or contact information. Thank you. Of Facebook and maybe WhatsApp or whatever. And so, like, all of us guys are like, who's the one with the yellow hair? Oh, can't be Ed, it must be me.
Yeah.
Walker's like, oh, no, it's totally me. Like, I live on the top floor, you know, like, must be me. Because, like, we all want to be the one who, like, the girl is, like, throwing the letter to, you know? And so we go out to where she found the letter, and it's on a top floor, like, this balcony area. And so we're, like, looking around, and we find... We look down off of the balcony onto these like tin roofs that are there, and we see paper airplanes and other crumpled up balls with notes tied to them. And like this person was like launching notes, like a number of notes, trying to get trying to get them to our patio. And they finally, like, you could tell they started with the paper airplanes, and then they realized, like, okay, that prototype isn't working. They switched to just like the kinetic force of a paper ball. And and so I was like, oh, it's definitely me. Like, let me just message her, you know. So I get on a messenger, and it's a dude, of course, you know. And so he was like, yeah, we should meet up. And we were like, okay, we still shouldn't. We never did, and we should have.
We really, I mean, we do that. Like, look at Kumar. Like, we just...
And so, anyways, we looked it up. We looked him up, and you know, they had a good laugh at me because then no one wanted to be the one. Of course.
Well, I think the guy that threw the note had hair dyed yellow, so he was the boy with yellow hair, which is quite a poetic ending.
What a twist!
What a twist there! You can't write this.
Well, I'm fresh out of stories, so I don't know.
I still got some.
Okay, well,
last one over then.
I got the time Trent saved me from going to the gulags. So let's get
as well.
So Trent was our friend who visited. He's our friend. He still is our friend, but he was visiting. And we're riding. We're gonna go get pedicures actually down in downtown. Was it manicures? I thought it was mani-pedi.
Whatever.
Anyways, we're going to downtown Saigon from. We live like east of the city, so we're like doubled up on the bikes going down, and we pass the place, and it's a one-way, and I'm like, it's fucking Vietnam. You can drive. You know, the rules of driving in Vietnam is just drive. And so I turn back up the sidewalk of the one-way and start driving, and there's two police guys that just like, hey, get off the bike.
He just drives right into them.
So the rules, like, what we were told is just drive without a license. It's cool. If the cops try to pull you over, just get away. 1, 2, speak like English, and they don't speak English, and you can bribe them. And 3, call your buddies and say you're the U.S. Embassy. My phone was out of
So he pulled into these cops, and we are on bikes behind him, and we also pull onto the sidewalk, and we see him just like pull right into these cops. There's nothing he could do.
Nothing you could do.
And so like we just like popped off the curve, and got out of there. Just absolutely left our buddy hanging high and dry, no worries. And we also, because the last thing is like, you know, your last resort is like, all right, let me call the U.S. Embassy, and you call your friend.
Yeah.
And then your friend talks to the guy, and that's supposed to work. But then we realized we don't even have we've been living in Vietnam for months at this point. We don't even have each other's numbers. Because you don't use your Vietnamese number ever. You just use Facebook Messenger or something. We don't have each other's numbers. I still don't know if I have your guys' numbers.
But anyways, they say, I have Evan saved as U.S. Embassy. Anyways, they now I do. Back then I didn't. And they say like, none of the cops speak English, and I got one that was like, get off the bike, pull it over. Let me see your license. And I was like, I don't have one. It felt like I was 19 years old in Iowa City getting carded at the bar. I was like, I had the same exact scenario happen with a cop in Iowa City as I'm carrying a 30-pack back to a tailgate.
Remember that.
And it's like, I don't have one. And he's like, why don't you have one?
It still is actually recording. It's giving me that notification twice.
That's cool. That's good. Anyways, Trent pulled out. It cost $20 for me to go free, no ticket.
And it worked out, and we dipped out, and we were good, so no worries.
We went and ate food.
And Trent saved him.
Yeah, so thank you, Trent. If your position is still available, send an email to evan@trekyeah.com, and include your resume.
Santi's also here. Santi says cheers.
Ooh, Santi, you showed up a little too late. We roasted you earlier.
We roasted you earlier, Santi, so you missed that.
Not too bad, but we got you.
Hey, good to see you though.
Again, I don't know if you're on YouTube or not, but if you have questions, ask him.
We got Olivia Harding.
Olivia Harding.
She, I don't think she's here anymore. She was here for a bit.
She was here though. That's cool.
That's
man.
legit.
But anyway, Andy, you had one more story.
I got it.
One more story.
We're at
35 baht.
55.
One more story.
35
Evan.
baht.
All right. An uncomfortable moment is, me and Walker and Evan are sitting across from this guy, and okay, this is great. Me and Walker are freestyling to each other, right?
Okay.
We're like freestyling back and forth, just like drunk and whatever. And this guy across from us is like, hey, like, he's like, hey man, like I produce music, like you guys should come over and like rap for us. And we're like, yeah,
Can you get his
totally.
contact? 'Cause I'm down.
I don't know, but we're like, sure. It was really odd though, and so we started a conversation with this guy, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like the other day, I was at 3K, the 3K beer place where the beers are 13 cents. I was at 3K, and this guy just went up to this other guy and started punching him in the back of the head and just absolutely like beat him up, and like all these guys started brawling, and like it was so weird. And I just saw him walk in. And we were like, oh, really? Like, where is he? You know, he's actually sitting right behind you guys. And we're like, oh, great, you know, like, whatever, haha. And so, anyways, we're drinking. It's not a problem. Like, he's not going to do anything, whatever. But it's Evan's birthday, right? So these girls at our table wanted to, like, play a little prank on the birthday boy. And one of them comes out, grabs his hat off his head, and puts it on a Vietnamese guy. And of course, it's that guy who is notorious for like starting fights at this bar. And like we see that, and it's like, it's like, okay, here we go. And so like Evan turns around and he stands up to go get his hat, and like I turn around and it's like, here we go, this is it, huh? Okay. And it's like that right there was a very uncomfortable moment, because like the context of the situation would not have been taken correctly by the people around us, and we would have been, of course, the outsiders there and in the wrong by default. So, but nothing came
happened.
Nothing came. He grabbed his hat. The guy came over to cheers with us. We cheers with them. We had a drink. It was like, hey, you should see you later, man.
It was good.
And that was that.
Yeah, so one of the things we also wanted to brainstorm was a time that somebody has done something really stupid. And Evan, the time you did something really stupid, man. We went to, when we were living in rural Vietnam, with Dom and Stinky. Dom was like, hey, let's go to Cu Chi Tunnels. It's this Vietnamese Vietnam War remnants. They're the tunnels where like the Viet Cong dug these underground systems, beautiful like guerrilla warfare to the max.
Terrifying.
Yeah, and they're like as an American, like I'm 6'2", how do I fit in these tunnels? And they would send people into these tunnels. Anyways, Evan, you really fucked up because you were down in the tunnel and you had the opportunity to go deep. And you didn't go deep into the tunnel, man.
I think that's another good one. It was muddy and it was all these things.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
I know what he's talking about, but I think it's not a good one.
You should have gone, man.
I'll flop it around. I see where you're coming from here. He's saying that I should have gone and went into these tunnels because I had the opportunity.
Down, and they were like, keep going, and it was down.
And I said it was gross, and I could not even see it, and I didn't do it. So on my end, so at this point, I guess we're talking about the point where our buddies have messed up over the past 6 months. And so it's my turn to say that both of these guys fell in love, and that was the biggest mistake they could have ever done.
Whoa.
Biggest
mistake.
Did you say the L word?
Did you say the L
word?
Oh.
And why is that?
Because I'm single and I'm on top of the world.
Oh, you're on top of the world.
Nah, I'm kidding. kind of. Anyway, so that I had told you I didn't have really anything to say for that category.
That was decent. You should have gone deep into that.
I'm taken.
That was
I'm
one
on top
shot
of
at
the
love.
world. So diss off.
Andy, you got a disser or no?
I've actually been saying my disses very subtly. I've been taking my disses and turning them into. Okay, here's one. This is a. You know, I'll say the wrong. This isn't really a diss much. But
it doesn't matter.
But Evan, he traveled all over Europe, right? And over in Europe and all those countries, they say ciao for like bye or whatever. And at the beginning, I hear Evan say ciao to someone, and they're like, oh, zi ciao, you know? They're like, say it back. And I'm like, man, like, okay. I'm like impressed. And I was like asking him about it. He's like, oh yeah, you know, like people say it everywhere. It's like ciao, you know, it's like hello, goodbye, like whatever. It's like, whoa, okay. And little did we know, we had just gotten to Vietnam. Little did we know,
good.
Bye is xin chao, or
it's like
some
again,
derivative the accents and whatnot. But it's like xin chao is bye. So he's saying ciao, and everyone now, all the Vietnamese people think he's speaking Vietnamese and saying xin chao, and like saying bye to him, and they're all like, oh, xin chao, back. And I'm like, man, he is killing it. Like, I need to like brush up on my Vietnamese. He's already like way ahead of the game here. And he's just saying it like, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's some greeting. I think it's both. And
Okay.
I have no idea.
Ciao is hello. And
It's like aloha.
Okay.
most languages.
But right. And so he's speaking some European language to them, and they are mistakenly speaking of like Vietnamese back to him, and they're still communicating the exact same thing they want to communicate.
Yeah, it's great.
It's really funny.
Anyway, I think that might be it, guys. Unless you got something.
I'm
you
done.
Really wanna...
I'm out.
Yeah, do we just hang out for a while?
We got some buddies coming.
No one's giving us a. My joined. Hi, my.
Hey, Mike.
No one's been asking questions. Our Instagram stream died because I think your memory. It must cache some memory onto your phone.
Classic my phone, huh?
Yeah, it is. So or
So-
there's a limit on how long your Instagram live could
Does
be.
anybody have any questions?
Any
We can do
questions from people that are here right now?
Before we.
Otherwise, we're about to close out. You got questions or you don't? I'll check YouTube to be sure.
All right. There was something I wanted to bring up. There was like a really deep thing, but I lost it.
That's a bummer, huh?
Are you even reading YouTube chat? No, we're not reading YouTube
we're not.
chat.
Do we
Our
have
phone is way too far. What really happened in the tunnels? Rachel says.
What really happened?
What
to the
really-
tunnel?
Was it a gay thing?
Dick deep? Yeah.
We're not reading YouTube chat. Sorry.
Thank God. Hey,
I've been like not drinking
I
a
don't know
bunch
how
this
to-
past
I don't know
month,
how
and
to-
I am drunk. YouTube and
well, you too.
Periscope.
Do people?
Is anybody on Periscope? Yeah, Periscope. What's up? Hola.
We're gonna finish on YouTube chat.
Hola.
You say bye to YouTube.
Hey, see
goodbye,
you, YouTube. You
It's been fun. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe.
XYZ.